Good morning everyone. Today we are here to discuss about transverse electric waves. So in the last lecture we have been discussing about three different modes of wave that can propagate through a uniform wave guiding structure. They are transverse electromagnetic wave, transverse magnetic wave, then transverse electric wave. So in the last session we have discussed about transverse magnetic wave and transverse electromagnetic wave. In that discussion we mainly addressed the different properties of a transverse magnetic and a transverse electromagnetic wave, their corresponding phase velocity, their wavelength, their wave impedance, then propagation constant, phase constant has been discussed in detail. Also we have discussed about the cutoff frequency in the case of transverse magnetic wave. Today we are here to discuss about transverse electric waves. Okay, so here we are to discuss about transverse electric wave, so which does not have a component of electric field in the direction of propagation. That means Ez will be equal to 0. That is, there is no electric field component in the direction of propagation, that is Ez equal to 0, or the longitudinal component Ez equal to 0 in that case. And also we note that for a transverse electric wave we have Hz not equal to 0. That is, we have a non-zero magnetic field along the direction of propagation. So to understand the wave behavior of a transverse electric wave, so here we will be discussing with the Helmholtz homogeneous equation corresponding to magnetic field, which is h square hz is equal to 0. Okay, so we know that h square is equal to gamma square plus k square, and why we have taken h del square xyz, so we are taking as a plane or a surface over here for since we are dealing with a uniform wave guiding structure. So this part is representing the cross sectional area and this part is representing the direction of propagation corresponding to that. So when we apply the proper dielectric or boundary condition at the waveguide walls, so the transverse electric field component then found by substituting Hz, then we'll get from the equation that already we have written in form of dielectric electric field and magnetic field component, so which is equal to hx0 is equal to minus gamma by h square dou h0 z divided by x, then h0 y equal to minus gamma by h square dou hz divided by dou y. Okay, similarly if you return the electric field component, Ex0 will be equal to minus j omega mu divided by h square dou z0 divided by dou y will come. And if you write the Ey0 component, then we'll get j omega mu divided by h square dou hz0 divided by dou x will come. Okay, so this we are getting from the equation of hx0, hy0, ax0, ey0 in terms of hz and ez. Now we have, in this case we have known ez equal to 0 and hz is equal to a non-zero component. So if you substitute that in the equation that we already have seen in the case, so you will be getting this equation in that form. Now if you consider the cross sectional area, then we can write it as h0 xy, which is equal to ax hx0 ay hy0, which is equal to minus gamma by h square delta xy it's z0. Okay, so this is the first corresponding to that. So we got a similar equation corresponding to transverse magnetic mode also. So that is was in terms of electric field. Now we got a equation that is in terms of magnetic field component, that is propagating along the direction of propagation. So the transverse component of electric field intensity Ex0, Ey0 are related to the magnetic field intensity through the wave impedance. So which we can represent as like this. That is, if you represent the wave impedance corresponding to transverse electric wave, we'll get ZTE equal to Ex0 divided by Hy0, which can be equal to, in terms we can say that Ey0 divided by Hx0. So this is how the wave impedance will be. So which is equal to j omega by gamma, j omega mu by gamma. Okay. So Zt is the wave impedance for the case of transverse electric wave. So here we can say that gamma, that is representing the propagation constant, which is not equal to the propagation that we represented similarly here, right? Okay, so the propagation, so here also we can say that one thing is that gamma TE not equal to gamma TEM. So the propagation constant in the case of a transverse electromagnetic wave and a transverse electric wave are different, and also the electric field component in this case will be equal to minus ZTE Az cross H. So if you can write the magnetic field component in terms of electric field, so also electric field component can be written in terms of magnetic field. So the electric field here will be, which is equal to minus ZTE, the wave impedance corresponding to the transverse electric mode, into Az into H. Okay, so we got the same kind of equation that we also observe here. Also here also we can see that there are two frequency. You can if you consider the cutoff frequency here, so you will also find the frequency corresponding to cutoff frequency. Then you compare the operating frequency f with respect to the cutoff frequency fc, then you will be getting a different denotation that we already have seen in the case of transverse magnetic wave. Similarly here also, if f by fc whole square is greater than 1, we can say that f will be greater than fc, where fc is the cutoff frequency and f is the operating frequency, and the gamma will be imaginary in that case. Okay, so we are propagating modes. The expression for gamma in that case, since this gamma representing as a j beta, so which is an imaginary value, and jk can be written as root 1 minus fc divided by f whole square. Okay, consequently, so we get the formula for beta, alpha, then phase velocity and group velocity in this case for TE wave as well. So here you can see that in this case the wave impedance will be equal to the TE equals to eta divided by root 1 minus fc by f whole square. So okay, yeah, fc by f whole square, where eta represents the intrinsic impedance, so which indicates that the wave impedance of a propagating transverse electric mode in a waveguide is purely resistive and is always larger than the intrinsic impedance of the dielectric medium. So that is ZTE will always greater than eta, and also it is purely resistive as well. Okay, so that is the two important thing we get to know from here. And also in the last class we already seen for a transverse electric wave how the picture look like. So we have seen a graph like this. We have seen a graph like this where we represented the transverse electric modes and transverse magnetic modes, and we got a graph like this almost. So that is ZTE can be written as by eta, and on the other hand we have a normalized impedance, and here we have F by Fc, and this is ZTM by eta. Okay, so this portion we call Evanson portion. Okay, so we have seen this in last class. Okay, so we got a trend like this. If you plot a ZTE divided by eta with respect to F by Fc, we'll get a trend like this. And also, if the case for B part, we can say that F by Fc whole square, if less than 1, will have F will be less than Fc, operating frequency is less than the cutoff frequency. Then we have the propagation constant will be a real value, and the Evanson or non-propagating mode will be equal to gamma equal to alpha equal to h into root 1 minus F by Fc whole square will come as the propagation constant equation corresponding to that. Okay, now we substitute the case in a case of ZTE. In this case we'll get ZTE as the wave impedance will be in terms of j omega mu divided by h into root 1 minus F by Fc whole square will come. So this is a case for F less than Fc. Okay, so which is a purely reactive one. So in this case we will get a purely reactive impedance. Okay, and there will be no power flow for Evanson wave at Fc. So no power flow for Evanson wave. So here we will observe a Evanson wave which do not propagate any corresponding wave in that case. So now we will see the case, that is, if you compare the three modes, so we'll have, if you give a tabular column like this, wave impedance on the other hand, that is Z. Okay, then we have guide wavelength, lambda, so we have TEM mode over here. Okay, for a TEM case, eta will be equal to mu by epsilon, lambda is equal to 1 by F by root mu epsilon, Tm eta into root 1 minus Fc by F whole square. So this table is actually in the case of F greater than Fc. Okay, then we have TE mode. In that case, eta into, so in this case, as we know, is eta divided by root 1 minus Fc by F whole square, and the lambda divided by root 1 minus Fc divided by F whole square. Then in this case we have lambda divided by 1 minus Fc divided by half whole square. So this is the three different modes and their corresponding diagram, corresponding wave impedance and the guide wavelength has been tabulated in a tabular column here. So if you represent it as we know, for a propagating mode, gamma equal to j beta, and the variation of b versus frequency determine the characteristics of, okay. So as we know, for a propagating mode, gamma equal to j beta. So the beta versus frequency plot, okay, determine the characteristics of a wave along a waveguide. Okay, so this determine the characteristic of a wave along a waveguide. Okay, so if you plot a omega versus beta diagram, so we'll get a relationship between a propagating modes with that. So that is how this graph will be. So you just note down. So we are, if you plot a plot like this, that is omega with respect to beta, where beta is the phase constant, omega is the angular frequency. The plot look like, okay. So this frequency is called omega c. Okay, and this point I denote P. Okay, so omega by beta actually representing corresponding to the propagating mode Tm and Te. So this plot represent the corresponding to propagating mode of Tm and Te, and this plot is representing the Tem mode. Okay, so it is actually starting from 0 and moving on, and whereas in the case of a propagating mode, we have a cutoff frequency and an operating frequency. So if the propagation has to start, so the frequency should be more than the cutoff frequency. So it should be always more than the operating frequency. So the slope of this straight line is, as we get, if you take the omega by beta, that is the slope of this graph, then you will be getting u, that is a velocity, that is 1 by root mu by epsilon wave. So that is the slope of this graph. Okay, okay. So which is same as the velocity of light in a unbounded dielectric medium with a constitutive parameter mu and epsilon. And the solid curve above the dashed line depict the omega beta relation with the Tem and Te mode. In that case, the omega will be equal to, in this case, omega will be equal to beta mu divided by root 1 minus fc by f whole square. So this is the relation between, okay. So this is for Tem. For Tm and Te, so we have omega equal to beta into u divided by root 1 minus fc by f 1 minus fc by f whole square will come as the relation between the omega and beta. Okay, so also we can show that when beta equal to 0, at that time omega will be equal to omega c. Okay, the slope of the line joining the origin at any point such as P on the curve is equal to the phase velocity up. Okay, so that is the point we denoted 0 to p. If you take on that curve, so slope of that curve will be getting up as the value, the phase velocity in that case. Okay, for a particular mode having a cutoff frequency fc, the operating at a particular frequency as well. So the local slope of omega and beta at p is the group velocity. So also we'll get the group velocity from that game. We also note that the propagating TM wave in gate in UP greater than U and UG greater than V in fact show that so in order to propagate with TE or TM mode, so in that case the phase velocity should be greater than the U and it should be less than the group velocity. Group velocity should be less than U, and also we can say that UP equal to UP into UG equal to, we will get U square or C square. So as the operating frequency increases much above the cutoff frequency, both UP and UG approaches U asymptotically, and the exact value of cutoff frequency depends on the eigenvalue of h that already we have discussed. And on a particular TM and TE mode of a given cross section, the method of determining will be we have to discuss in the next few lectures. And also if you just note an attenuation constant relation with respect to the operating frequency for Evanson mode, so we'll have a figure like this. So that is, if FC alpha by h if you plot with respect to frequency, then you will be getting a value corresponding to the like a high pass one. So this is FC where alpha equal to h. Okay, so this is called FC. Okay, so this is a corresponding graph for a case where we are having a frequency with respect to in that case. So so it's showing the attenuation constant and the operating frequency for a Evanson mode. Okay, so this graph is showing a relationship between the attenuation constant alpha and the operating frequency f for a Evanson mode, so which can be depicted as FC alpha h whole square plus f square is equal to fc square. So this is the relation between for Evanson wave, for an Evanson TM or TE mode, if the frequency is less than, operating frequency is less than the cutoff frequency, so we'll have a relation between the attenuation constant and the cutoff frequency like this. So this also you note in addition to that. Okay, so with that we have ended up the discussion of transverse electric wave. So next we will be discussing the wave propagation through a rectangular waveguide. So that we will be discussing in our next lecture. Okay, so the main thing we have discussed in the last two lectures is three different propagating modes: transverse electric wave, transverse electromagnetic wave, transverse magnetic wave, and corresponding different conditions for wave impedance and phase velocity has been discussed. And also in the case of transverse magnetic and transverse electric case, we have discussed the case of cutoff frequency. So there will be two cases corresponding to the operating frequency greater than cutoff frequency and the operating frequency less than cutoff frequency. If the operating frequency is less than cutoff frequency, we will have a Evanson mode. There will be a transmitting electric field component, so which actually representing with the attenuation constant alpha, and where operation. So if a wave should propagate in a proper manner, so it should follow a operating frequency should be greater than the cutoff frequency. So that is the main cases we already discussed in the last two lectures. And with that, I am just winding up this session. Thank you for listening.